Hello everyone, Delta4096 here with a fan requested video. I want to say thank you for requesting this, Movros99. If you're watching, this is the video you asked for. It's explaining just everything that XVM gives you statistically. So I'm going to take the time to explain what I do know about XVM, the numbers it gives you, and this kind of stuff. If I skip anything or leave something out and you know more about that particular part than I do, feel free to explain in comments, send me a message. It doesn't matter. This is just me trying to give the general idea of what I know, or to get across what I know about XVM so far. As you know, I've got the tutorial on my page explaining how to install it, so I'm going to do this part and explain just what some of the stuff it gives you actually means. So I'm going to start getting XVM up here, get World of Tanks up running XVM. Let's give it a second. It takes a little bit of time on my computer, shouldn't take too terribly long. There we go, get it started pulling up. Now there are a lot of elements that go that needs explaining within just the garage itself. There are several things you can look at there within your service record, other players' service records, and then there's also the numbers and percentages it gives you within a battle loading screen or in a battle itself. So I'm going to try to explain a lot of this as quickly as I can. I'm not going to run a full battle. I'm probably not going to go into a battle at all. I'll probably just bring up a screenshot of a loading page a little bit later in the video explaining what those particular numbers mean. This way you're not having to sit through an entire battle of me just explaining one particular thing that has to do with just the loading screen. So here we are in my garage. It's during the 15th anniversary celebration that Wargaming's doing. Now, what we mainly need to focus on in here is in the service record. I know I'm not the greatest player in the world, so you don't have to comment on that. If you want to, it's fine. But I'm just going to give you the breakdown of numbers here and what everything means that XVM gives you. Without XVM, this filter that you have here, that my cursor is circling currently, does not exist without XVM. Excuse me. With it, it allows you to just filter in your service record what's in your hangar. All the tanks that is in World of Tanks period. As you can see, all the ones I've never played before, blah blah blah. Or you can just have it go to player tanks, which is the standard list it gives you. Excuse me guys, my throat's been bothering me a little bit today, so I have to excuse that. You also get these other ways you can sort everything, such as your mastery class badges. I'll bring that part up. The percentage of wins that you've had per tank, the number of fights, which is the default filter in order of how many fights you've had in each tank. As you can see, my Churchill 3's at the top. You can sort by name, nation, type, and its tier level. If you're looking for a particular tank and you know it's a tier 10, just search it by level. This way you don't have to scroll through all the fights trying to find it. Now over here in the overall results with like battles participated, so you can see I've got about a little over 10,000 battles, and I have this thing called 49 to 49%, or 152 to 49.5%. What these numbers mean is that's how many, the 49 to 49%. That means I need 49 more battles to get a dead even 49% win rate going. Same thing with 152 to 49.5. It means in 152 victories I should have a 49.5% win rate. Now, moving on from that, you have the WN6 here, which is the #1 statistic that XVM shows. A lot of certain modifications of XVM will use WN7, which will typically show you a little bit higher efficiency-wise. WN6 tends to look at things that are mainly tier 5 and above. Sometimes it'll account for your lower tiers, but for some reason the formula doesn't favor it as much. Anyways, as you can see, my WN6 is 43, with 999 as the overall efficiency. Now, with the 43 part, the closer to 100 the number is, the better the player is. As you can see, I'm about middle of the road. Yellow is about middle of the road, as is 43. 999 is just the actual number, basically the, I guess that would be the WN7 number. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Again, That's what I believe it is. The efficiency is not what's technically shown, but again, it's not really shown in the main modifications that I give in my tutorial, like in battle. But it's the same way as the WN6. The closer to 100, the better. Mine is a 47, which again is middle of the road. TWR, I'm not entirely sure what that stands for. Somebody can correct me, can point it out in the comments what it means. It can help me out there. I've hypothesized that it maybe means true win rate, which I don't think that's right, but it's a percentage, and that's what makes me believe that. I don't know why mine would be so low. But anyways, moving on is down to the battle performance under the destroyed part. As you can see, I've killed 8,300 tanks, and it says out this number right here is 0.81. This number is basically the average, the amount of kills I have to the amount of battles I fought in. The kills to battle ratio, as you can see, that's about 0.81. Means I average 0.81 kills per game, I believe, is what that is saying. Because everybody has those battles where you just have some really bad luck and you don't get any kills, or you get a Confederate because everybody took the kills you were trying to get, and everything like that, and that makes that number about where it's at. The maximum destroying battle is obviously the same, except with XVM it shows the tank out to the side as to what tank you did that in. As you can see, my max is 10, and my most recent one was the Hetzer. I've also done it in the IS-3 as well. Hit ratio, nothing changes. Damage, it shows your damage here, the total you've done. As you can see, it's a little over 7 million for me. And then your average damage per battle, that 700 is thanks to my E100. It tends to pump out, the E100 pumps out a lot of damage per shot by itself. The average level is the average tier level you play at, minus 6.1, which means I average playing tier 6 and up. Spotted, 1.03, that's average again. I spot at least one tank per battle myself. Defense points per battle is 0.75. That's typically a little on the low side, because it's not often enough that you're actually close enough to base, unless you're trying to head back to intercept something in time to be able to get defense points. Capture points, you can see mine with me is 1.98. I do a lot of capturing of of enemy bases. This is why it's so high on average with the average of battles. Now under experience here, you have the total experience that doesn't show anything. As you can see, the average experience per battle, it shows me at 459. XVM gives you down to the 100th decimal spot of exactly what your average experience is per battle. And then maximum experience per battle, it tells you what it is. You can see mine's 2311 with the IS-3. It shows you which tank you've gotten the most experience with at once. Now, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, see if I can find it, if I have it enabled in my XVM configuration to show. I don't believe I do, so I'm not going to bother with that. This is in the right window. Here is my overall statistics. You can also click on an individual tank, such as my E100 here, and under the battle performance and below, or actually for all of it below, it tells you each thing the same way as the overall results for the tank. The only added difference is the E down here, which is your efficiency in the tank. The closer to 10, the better. As you can see, I'm 5 green. It's above average, a little above average. Specific damage per match, or your average over the course of battles you've had. For dealt and received, and then spotted and been spotted, that kind of stuff. The average experience per battle for that tank, and the maximum you've ever earned in that tank itself. Let me explain the colors. I've been using the colors green and yellow a lot. Excuse me. The color represents how good a player is just by glancing at them. You start at red, which is about as bad as it can get. I don't mean that in an offensive way. Just red usually means they're not that great of a player, or they're just starting out, don't have that many battles under their belts. Their efficiency is not going to be that high. You go from red to orange, which is a little under average. Then you go to yellow, which is about average, which is where I'm at. Yeah, it's about average, about your average player. Then you get green, which is a little above average. Then blue, which is an awesome player. And then you have purple, which is the rarest player of them all, typically. Purple represents an epic player. It means their efficiency is like is 90 and above. 90 to double X, which represents 100. They are the players to look out for. They are the most dangerous players you can encounter. It means they have the ability and the skill to turn a battle around in a matter of minutes. They might be the only purple player on their team, but they have an effect. If your win chance is, let's say, 30%, and there's 2 purple guys on the enemy team, blue even as well, those 2 guys are the main reason you have such a low chance of winning. Or same thing if they're on your team and you've got a 70% chance of winning. It's because of those players influence the formula the most, because their statistics are the highest as compared to other players on your team and on the enemy team. That's what the colors mean. Now I'm going to hop over here in just a second to a screenshot of a battle loading page just so you can see what everything means, what I'm talking about with the colors and everything like that, and I'll explain a few more things about that as well. I'm also going to have a screenshot of in battle, so you can see some of the features that XVM gives you by default with the XVM configuration I give in my tutorial. So we're going to hop on over to that here in just a few seconds. Alright guys, here is the game loading screen I was referring to just a few seconds ago. As you can see, my name's listed up there. Again, this is just a screenshot. Don't expect anything to load in anytime soon. But here is a breakdown of basically what you are going to see. If you will look in this section here, where the 3 numbers are located, what you have is the number of approximate number of battles that the player has run, their WN6 efficiency, my bad, and their win rate to the nearest whole percent. For instance, mine says 10k because that's the closest battle marker I have. I mean, I'm at 10,300 and something. It rounds down at that point. When I get to about 10,600 or so, that will pop up to 11k. The 43, as if you remember from earlier, is the WN6 efficiency rating that I have. As you can see, some of the other players have 75, 57, 31, stuff like that. And then the percentage, again, is the win rate to the nearest whole percent that player has. As you can see with me, it's 49%. Some have 53, 48, and we have a few with 44. The others that you're seeing nothing but dashes with, like --k, --, and then --%, it means that they're just starting out in this new tank, or they haven't played long enough to get statistics. At tier 5, we assume obviously that they've been playing long enough to have stats, but with them being in a new tank and haven't had a lot of run with it, it basically hasn't registered with XVM that they're running a new tank, so they're not going to be able to get their stats up as soon. Sometimes this doesn't happen. Other times, as you can see with, let's say, the KV-1, the Panzer III-4, it will show up like that. And that being said, if you end up looking like that on your own statistics, just give yourself a few, like 100 battles or so, and sooner or later your stats are going to start showing up again. It's nothing to panic over. It's not XVM message. It's just how it does when you start out in a new tank. Excuse me. If you're ever in a high tier battle, let's say tier 8, and you see a tier 8 premium tank with no stats, it's not that they've just gotten the tank and everything. It means that they have just bought that, and it's pretty much a new account, which basically means they have the chances are they may not know what they're doing exactly, and they've just bought this tier 8 thinking, hey, it's a tank that's going to make me good money, haha, yay. Except they're going to have no idea what to do in tier 8, so it's something to watch out for. We're going to jump over to another screenshot real fast, and then I'll explain some more stuff about that one. Okay, here we have a screenshot of me in the middle of a battle on my Panzer IV Small Term. There's going to be a few things I'm going to explain here on the HUD that XVM adds on. We're going to get to the mini-map in a second, because as you can see, it's a little small, but there are some things on there, and I'll explain that here in just a second. I just want to go over real short. Here on the left side on the players panel, where you have the normal list, the tanks listed, and the player names, however you happen to have that set up. As you can see on my screen, the player names are highlighted in the colors that I explained earlier, with the exception that white means they have no statistics showing up within this battle right now. and I explained that, like I explained in the previous screenshot, that means they have no stats for this tank yet, whatever. As you can see, there's a couple red players, a few orange, a couple of yellows, and we even have a few greens in this game, along with the whites that have no stats. If you look up to above the players panel where it shows my ping a little over to where the lag is, if you look to the right of it, excuse me, it says hits with a number, the number sign, and right now it's 0. But as the battle progresses, if you watch up there, that number will increase, and it'll also have a damage indicator showing how much damage you have done in that match. That excludes damage like if you take a blind shot and hit somebody that hasn't been spotted yet, it won't calculate that damage in because it wasn't there, and it basically couldn't detect that damage. That will show up on the battle results page after the battle. Don't worry, but this gives you a general idea of how much damage you've done over the course of the battle. Now I'm going to move over to a different screenshot that has an enlarged mini-map, and I'll explain some of the features on it. The last thing I want to say real quick is up at the top where it has the heavy tank symbols, the light tanks, tank destroyers, whatever, and the 0, that comes standard with the newest update in 8.7. That is not something that XVM gives you. It's something that comes standard with World of Tanks now. So don't get that confused with it being a part of XVM. I had somebody ask me about that, and I had to explain that it's just a part of the normal client itself. Alright, so here's the screenshot of the enlarged minimap. I'm going to explain a few things on this one. It has all the luckily this screenshot has all the features I need to explain for the minimap. You can see my arrow indicator showing where I'm at and which way I'm facing up there in the top left corner of the minimap. If you look out a ways from me, over just past our base, you'll see the outline of a yellow circle. That indicates my maximum view range, basically the spotting range of my tank. If anything's inside that circle, I have a chance of spotting that tank as long as they're not in cover or I have a direct line of sight. The white square that is a little hard to make out, it's in the middle of A6. Down to about I can't tell which sector that is. G6 and over to G1. That is the maximum draw distance of my tank, or that I have of the map, basically. As you can see on the mini map, where each tank symbol is, it has the name of the tank out next to it. That is extremely useful in my opinion because it allows you to tell where a thing is. You can tell where things are, what tank they happen to be, which is extremely useful. If you see the red ones, they're also lit up. But if you look down the bottom right-ish, you'll see a dot, and I believe in AT2. That dot with the name that's basically that particular tank was last spotted at that particular spot before it disappeared. Which it's useful for a team saying, hey, this guy was last spotted here, he might still be there, be careful, or hey, go scout that area because a group of tanks was last sighted here. It's extremely useful to be able to help your team and be able to navigate them towards points of interest, or that could potentially be turned into threats. Destroyed tanks won't show up, though I think there might be a way to have that show up in the XVM configuration. I've never really played around with that one that much. The other thing is, if you're in a platoon with a couple guys, your platoon members will show up as orange symbols on the map, and they will have the first parts of their name next to their symbol and tank name on the mini-map. It lets you keep it with where your guys are. For instance, if I'm platooning with one of my deputy commanders, let's say High Cool 2, on the mini-map, it will show his tank symbol, the name of the tank he's in, and then it says, like, hi, and then with a C at the end. It just gives you a short part of their name. It's like, okay, that's where my platoon member is. For them, I show up as Delt instead of, there's no A at the end, so it looks a little funny. But either way, it shows your platoon members where they are, and it helps you to navigate them towards points of interest. If they don't have XVM, you can say, hey, be careful going that way. These few tanks were last seen in the general area of where you're going. It's extremely useful. It's a great feature. I love that they put that in there because, in my opinion, it helps players be more aware of what's going on the mini-map. We're going to move over to one final screenshot that shows an after-battle results page and everything that it shows there, because there's a few things that show up that normal World of Tanks unmodded without XVM does not show. So I'll move over to that real fast. Okay, so here we have an after-battle report from one of my T-34 battles that I had earlier the day this was recorded. There's a few things I want to go over here that XVM shows you that, but regular water tanks that doesn't have XVM does not. The first thing that you're going to notice is down below the detailed report tab button that'll shoot you over to the detailed report area. You can see my hit percentage, the number of shots I took, the number of shots that actually hit. It'll give you your hit ratio for that battle, the damage that others did when I detected an enemy, and the total number of damage that you dealt during the battle. This counts shots that against invisible tanks that weren't seen, and ones that obviously were seen. With this is a short explanation. There's not a whole lot to go over here. At the top, you can see the chance to win, just like you could during the loading screen, and if you hit tab in a battle, you can see it there as well. That's pretty much it for this part. I mean, there's not a whole lot to go over here on an after battle report. All the other stuff is standard, such as over there on the part how many hits you did to one, what modules you damaged, which ones you destroyed, the assists you got, which tanks you detected. Other than the hit percent, the damage upon detecting, the damage dealt, everything else is pretty much the same as if water tanks was unmodded. So again, this is a short part, but this is the final part of explaining everything. I think I've covered just about everything that XVM gives you in game and all this kind of stuff, all the different features that go into it. As you can tell, seeing how long this video is, there's a lot that XVM gives you. So that's pretty much everything there is to explain. Have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge, or send me a message through Water Tanks, YouTube, doesn't matter. I will try to answer your questions as best I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll say it. I don't know the answer. Maybe try somewhere else for that particular answer to whatever question you asked. Thank you for watching. I hope this video has helped again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video as much as you can, guys, to help everybody out there further understand how XVM works. I will see y'all next time.